I'm bringing you today a build for Haider using the flame set. The set bonus gives us the heroic version of the roll skill. We can keep spamming it and passing through enemies, so this build is perfect for speed farming. It's great for Chaos 7 and 8, and after you get a higher legendary rank, you can go up to Chaos 9 and 10. As a general rule, try to get armor, health and resistance to damage over time on every armor piece. We socket also the same gems on every item. With this we get a good mix of damage over time and health. On your head you can get cooldown reduction as a stat, so always try to get it. Cost reduction and maximum energy are always good to get. Just try to avoid the plus loot quality stat on all of your items. Your gloves are the only armor piece that can roll with damage stats, so try to get damage, crit damage and damage over time on them. They are also the only armor piece that can roll with health drain. For our sword we have two solid choices. The first is Saintly Blades. This will provide us with a constant 100% damage bonus at high energy. We get a lot of energy gain, so it's easy to sustain. The fire aura also will help us to trigger on-hit effects and burn enemies, which is very beneficial for the build. High priority stats here are damage, damage over time, cooldown reduction and max health. Medium priority stats are crit damage, armor piercing, cost reduction and life drain. The second sword choice would be Crusader's Flames. It can give us up to 150% damage boost when 5 icons of Sigma are up, and it gives us some energy cost reduction. As you can see here, my first choice for the gun is that of Flame. It increases our dot damage and decreases our cooldown. Both are very important for the build. It also can trigger fire damage that leaves burning areas on the ground, so it will spread more fire dots on our enemies. High priority stats here are crit chance, damage, damage over time and max health. Medium priority stats are crit damage, armor piercing, cost reduction and cooldown. As a secondary choice, you could try Divine Wrath. You deal fire damage and get damage reduction, but since you are moving fast, you are not getting hit that much. The first ring will be the Signet of Endurance. We get a massive 50% damage reduction from it, and since we are moving fast and avoiding hits and we have a lot of energy gain, we can keep our energy up. High priority stats on your rings and metal are cooldown, crit chance, damage and damage over time. Medium priority stats are crit damage, armor piercing, max health, life drain and cost reduction. For the second ring we have two choices. The first is this one, giving you a damage over time increase if you switch your weapons back and forth regularly. As you can see, we get two different rolls depending if we are in melee or in range stance. I prefer to stay in range stance since the melee one only does direct damage on hit and the ranged one gives us a nice AoE effect. The second ring choice would be this one, giving you more cooldown reduction, so you can use your buffs more frequently. If you are lacking cooldown on your gear, you might wanna go with this one first. Our medal will be the Sacred Fire medal, giving us more cooldown reduction and more energy gain. We want to get this passive. One of our main damage sources are burn dots, so with this one we get a 50% damage boost if we kill a champion. One of the setups also allows us to use this one. It gives us another 40% damage boost when we stay in the area and gives us health regeneration. We are burning a lot of enemies around us, so with this one we get another damage reduction and health regeneration. I put 3 points in here for the defense, but you can put it anywhere else. Then we go this road. We don't care about the extra fire damage for traps. We want this one. This one gives us another 50% damage bonus and also gives us another 50% damage reduction. The points here are mainly for the cost reduction and critical damage. If you need the energy gain, use this setup. Here you can choose any energy regenerating skill. And here you can use Cast Iron Superior. When you get better at avoiding enemies, you can exchange the Cast Iron Superior for the normal Cast Iron. And you don't need the energy gain anymore. You can use the Pyre instead, so you get the 40% damage bonus. With this setup you will maximize your damage. I always like to play with the Duelist Chain Reaction. It gives us an easy 300% crit damage boost as long as we keep the stacks up. That's the main reason why we are using Cast Iron, because it has a cooldown of 12 seconds and it helps us to keep the Duelist Chain Reaction up. As you can see, we get a buff from it. This is the skill we get from our set bonus and will be our main damage source. The Sacred Sigil I mentioned before in the God skill tree, it will give us 50% damage bonus and reduce the enemy's damage by 50%. The Martyr Superior gives us another stackable damage bonus and damage reduction bonus. It also helps us to spread burning and creates Icons of Sigma. Condemn Superior slows the enemies, grants a 20% damage increase against the enemies hit by it, gives us a flat 10% damage bonus, and it adds the secondary damage as fire damage to all our attacks for 8 seconds. Holy Immolation grants us a fire damage bonus against burning enemies, and also very important, it gives us an energy regeneration based on the number of burning enemies, with a stack limit of 10. With this one, our Icons of Sigma grant more energy, which is very important for the build. We never want to run out of energy, and they give us a damage bonus for every nearby Icon of Sigma. This one I mentioned before in the God skill tree. We get a 50% damage over time boost when we kill a champion enemy. Duelist Chain Reaction I always try to include in my builds. It gives us a 300% crit damage boost when we keep the stacks up. You can get it from invasions. Here. Purifying Fire I mentioned also before in the God skill tree. It gives us a damage reduction and health regeneration. Lastly, Hero of the Desert from the Tomb Kings DLC. It gives us a nice overall stat boost. I would start with this setup. First go into Legendary Endurance, so you get some nice damage reduction. For 50 and 100. Next go into Legendary Healing, also 50 and 100. We have a chance to get healed when we use the energy consuming skill, and our main skill consumes energy, so with this we get a good amount of healing. Next go into Legendary Punishment, so you get a 50% damage boost, also 50 and 100. After this you can decide if you need much more damage reduction, or you want to go more into Legendary Reinforcement and you get damage reduction and damage increase, but only on skill cooldown. You might want to go into Legendary Crushing first. After this I would start from the beginning and fill out everything to 100 first. And after this you can go into Legendary Rage.